brush roundups that are in process as we stand here today. Our wild horses are facing immediate extinction by the Bureau of Land Management and other agencies that manage, and I use that term loosely, that manage wild horses on our public and private lands in America. It's a veritable holocaust against an American symbol of freedom, strength, and beauty. If we allow the government to take that symbol away from us, that icon representing the blood, sweat, and tears spilled as our forefathers settled and built this country on the backs of those horses, what does that say about us? And what does that say to us? It says that we no longer think of our country as a place of freedom. It says that we are not strong, but weak and worn down. It says that we no longer find beauty in our homeland. That's what we are letting our government tell us and what we are expressing to the rest of the world. I don't think we've lost our freedom. Do you?
No.
I don't think we are weak and worn down. Do you?
No.
And I still think this country is every bit as beautiful as it ever was. But it will be less beautiful without wild horses peacefully grazing on the hillsides, sipping cool waters from natural springs, quietly swatting flies beneath the oaks, pines, and junipers, or that awe-inspiring vision of a wild herd of American Mustangs galloping across the ridge at sunrise with a storm of dust in its wake. We see that image in television programs, in commercials, movies, and even on the backs of our quarters, because that's what freedom looks like. And that's what Americans think of when we think of our own freedom. It's a birthright to run across our own dirt at whim and fancy. Let's not let our bureaucrats take that image from us. Let's not let them destroy our wild horses or their perfect way of life. And for those who argue that wild horses aren't native to this land and don't deserve any indigenous rights, you should read up on the genetic research and scientific evidence written by Dr. J. Kirkpatrick and Patricia Fazio that proves otherwise. Those findings have been published in natural history journals. Nevertheless, even the ancestors of our current wild Mustangs have been here for 500 years. That's quite a bit longer than my family's been in this country. Yet I'm a citizen and a native, and I have birthrights. Don't our wild horses deserve the status and respect of a species that has thrived on this continent longer than most of the families of the very people who want to wipe them out? I think most of you would agree when I say the BLM's management practices are perpetually ineffective and degrading at high speed. The adoption program is a careless crapshoot. The removal process is reckless and cruel. The entire program needs drastic change. I fear that one day in the near future there won't be any wild horses left on our public ranges. And most of all, I shudder with impending grief at the idea of our wild horses dying at the hands of those who are supposed to be protecting and preserving them. By law, an act of Congress. If we give up our fight, I think that's what will ultimately become of all those horses that are being removed and stockpiled. I think they will be destroyed right before our eyes. And the BLM will say, sorry, we just can't afford to feed them any longer. Well, I think that would be very wrong and very un-American. And we cannot let that happen. We have to do whatever it takes to stop the roundups and force the BLM to take a different approach to wild horse management. There are many options and management models to draw from. Oh yeah, it's a big step to correct the program, but a bigger fall if it goes on as it is. American Mustangs are our horses. They live on our land. They belong to us. They breathe life into our country, into our dreams, our wildest dreams. Let's stop the roundups and save our wild herds.
Yeah.